Hey tribe, welcome back. This is going to be a very exciting video because we're going to talk about living the end 2.0. And by the way, really fast before we dive into this, is what we're going to talk about today. I'm not talking about theory here in this video. I'm talking about application. I'm telling you exactly how to do this and what's going to work for you and what's going to make it or break it for you, because you really want living the end to work for you. And when I actually searched this and I actually was thinking about doing this video, the thing I kind of saw was people's not teaching it. No, people's not teaching living the end 2.0. They're not teaching you this information, and that's why it's not working for you. So you want to listen up. You want to listen very, very closely. And if you stay until the end, there's going to be a bonus technique I'm going to share with you that goes along with living the end 2.0. Now, other than that, tribe, what do I mean by living the end 2.0? Now, I'm not going to go into what living the end is, because I'm going to assume you're past that stage. You're past that living the end 1.0. You get it. You get the concept. You get the concept Neville Goddard is trying to say. You know that you need to go straight to the end. If you want your dream house, you go straight to the end. You imagine it's if you carry yourself, you dwell therein, that you already have your dream house. Okay, you know this. You've been practicing this. Okay, you're kind of getting intermediate with this stuff, but something's not working for you. The reason why it's not working for you is because you're not taking it to the next level, the next phase, because people are not teaching it. I laugh, but it's so true. So other than that, let's jump on the computer and I will go through this one by one. Okay, and by the way, I'm gonna put on my handy dandy glasses so Chad can see. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Now, living the end 2.0, let's go to phase one here. Now, phase one, let me get the handy dandy highlighter going here. Now, phase one, we're really going to dig into, we're going to talk about your reactions to your 3D world reveal who you actually are. What do I mean by that? Your reactions to your 3D world, okay? It's like with living the end, what happens like 1.0 in the beginning, we tend to kind of, it's kind of like all fluff. It's affirmations. It's saying, I'm wealthy. I have my dream car. It's going inside imagination, creates reality. We can see ourselves living in our dream house, driving our dream car, whatever we want. Okay. But what makes it or breaks it for you is your reactions to when things go wrong in your 3D world. That's what I'm saying. Okay, who are you being when things don't go your way? You got to think about this, my friends. Who are you being? Okay, that's what I mean. Your reactions to your 3D world reveal who you actually are. Okay, listen, living the end isn't about staying calm all day. It's about when something, listen to this, when something happens, good or bad, which version of you responds? What do I mean by that? Which version of you responds? Remember, okay, I'm going to be funny with you here a little bit. There's two yous, if yous is a word, okay? There's a most successful version of you that has everything that you want, and there's the old you. You have two identities, okay? And this old you is what's keeping you in your comfort zone, that's been with you your entire life, that's created habits that you have, okay? Good and bad, okay? So that's what I mean. Listen, when something happens, good or bad, which version of you responds? Okay, when you walk outside and you get ready to go to work, you're beautiful, you're being that most successful version of you, you're acting as if you have what you want, you have that dream house, and you go outside, get in your car, you notice you have a flat tire. Now you have to call off work, you gotta lose money, your tire is flat, you gotta replace it, okay? And then the next month you're going on vacation, so it's extra money, you lose a day of work. How do you respond to that? Do you respond by that most successful version of you, or do you lose it? Do you have a mental breakdown? This is what I'm talking about. Who are you being when circumstances happen in your life? Because what Neville Goddard really meant was you, with living in the end, you're acting as if through everything, okay? Not when just things go your way. You're being that most successful version of you when circumstances arise that you don't like. So let's continue. So what ends up happening is if you react from anger, fear, panic, scarcity, why does this always happen to me? Okay, you react from victim, you play victim. Okay? We all play victim from time to time. It's not my fault. Why does this happen to me? Why do people take advantage of me? Why do people scam me? Okay? Okay, listen, when you're thinking that way, listen really fast. With your subconscious mind is black and white, my friends. It's not trying to figure out what's best for you. Your subconscious mind doesn't look at it as, well, Chad's having a mental breakdown right now. Okay? Doesn't look at it like that. It literally looks at it black and white. That Chad's having a breakdown, a mental breakdown over money being wasted. Your subconscious mind looks at it as money being wasted. You're having a fit, meaning you're living in scarcity and you're poor. That's how your subconscious mind thinks of it. It responds to it as you're poor. When that's not really true, but that's how your subconscious mind looks at it because it thinks black and white. It thinks it's very, very impersonal. That's why I always tell you in my videos that your subconscious mind don't care about you. You have to understand that. But if you react from clarity, strategy, you're calm, you're abundant, you have standards, you have boundaries and standards and leadership wrapped around your life. Okay, that's really coming from your highest self. That's really coming from that most successful version. Think about it this way. Okay, as we're going through this, okay, if you want your dream house, and you've been doing living the end, you've been acting as if you have it right now, well, how would the most successful version of you that has your dream house, how would it handle a flat tire? And you have to be super honest with yourself. How would it handle negative situations? It makes you think here for a second, but let's continue. When circumstances happen that you don't like, okay, what we have to understand, this is the test. It's not visualization. It's not the affirmations. You just walk around saying, I'm wealthy. I have my dream house all day long. Okay. The real test is when circumstances happen, who are you being in those situations? That's the real test. You see, that's what's aligning you. It's either misaligning you to what you want or it's aligning you to what you want. Listen to this. Now, I'll try to describe it really fast here. If what you want is within your consciousness, but it's on a different vibration. It's within your consciousness. It's not outside of you. It's within you, but it's on a different vibration level. Okay, your old identity is on one vibration. Your dream house is on a higher vibration. It's separated from you. Okay, but what you want to be aligned with it. Okay, your highest self isn't coming down to meet you. You have to come up your vibrational level to meet your higher self. Okay, that's how this stuff works. So when you live in the end, think about it this way. When you live in the end, when you carry yourself as the most successful version of you, what happens is you're becoming more aligned with what you want. You're on the same plane with what you want. Once you get on the same plane, boom, it connects really fast. But what takes you off that plane is when you have circumstances happen that you don't like and you respond like the old version of you, it drops you. And it drops you to a level where what you tolerate in life, and that's where you manifest from. You understand, my friends? We'll talk about this a little bit later. Now, number 2 here is every decision you make shows which end you're actually living in. Isn't that true? Okay, how you respond to situations, every decision you make, okay, either you're making decisions or responding from that most successful version of you or that old self. And that right there, how you respond, how you react is actually showing you, it's proving to you what end you're going to experience. You understand? So let's dig deeper here. So here, listen to this. Your choices match the version of you say you are. You understand? This is the law of being, but what's happening is the law of being is who are you being in every moment. But the version of you, if you're operating from that old identity, that's who you say you really are. Okay, is that old identity, that old self. Okay, like when Neville Goddard explains, he referred to it as the old man. Okay, if you're still operating as the old man, your old identity, that's what's manifesting in your life, those conditions, because you're operating from it, and you're operating from it from habit, from emotion, from truth. Remember what law of assumption is law of assumption is what you believe to be true for you has to come into your reality. Now this is a kind of a long list. Let's kind of shoot through these really fast. Is what you tolerate. What do you tolerate in life? Okay, I said this earlier. What you tolerate is the level you manifest on. Why? Okay, let's clear this up really fast. Why would I say that? What you tolerate in life, what you're tolerating in life right now is a level you manifest on. Why would I say that? Remember why I showed you with a vibration. Let's say the vibration, there's levels, okay? Up here is your highest standards, okay? And down here is your lower standards. What you tolerate in life, maybe you tolerate your boss at work talking down to you. You tolerate, you lower your standard. You lower it so low, this is what you tolerate down here. But this is the level of vibration you manifest from, my friends. That's what you have to understand. Okay, that's why standards and boundaries, really become very important when you talk about manifesting. Okay, what do you spend money on? Okay, does money make you nervous? The whole little secret, like, oh my God, I can't afford that. We got to be careful. Okay, those thoughts are coming from your old identity. Those thoughts are not coming from that millionaire version of you. Who you hire, the standards you set, the boundaries you enforce, the quality you demand, the way people treat you. And listen to this, your self-image, the way you treat yourself. The real question, do your decisions match the identity you're imagining? That's the $1 million question right here. Listen, do your decisions you're making in your 3D world match the identity you're imagining? And what I mean by that is, do your decisions you're making, is it coming from the person who has your dream house? Is it coming from the person who has the dream car? Is it coming from the person that is a multimillionaire? That's what I mean. Your decisions you're making has to align with that most successful version of you. Okay, this is why Neville Goddard really talked about the power of awareness. He wanted you to become aware of it. Because listen, once you become aware of what you're doing, once you see it, you can't unsee it, meaning you can fix it. You know what you're doing. You understand? This is where kind of people will say, well, Chad, I'm living the end, I'm doing everything right, but it's not working. It's you that's not working. You think you're living the end, but you're really carrying yourself like the old version of you. That's what I mean. You're still going through life in fear, in cheapness. Every time you're looking for sales, you're looking for breaks in money. You understand what I mean? Well, if you're a millionaire, would you be driving past 3 or 4 gas stations to find the cheapest gas station to get gas? Would you be doing that? Okay. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, Chad, I'm on a strict budget, whatever. But the question is, would you be doing that? If you're a millionaire right now, you have $1 million in the bank. If the answer is no, you shouldn't be doing it right now in your 3D world, because you're still operating from that poverty consciousness. You're still operating from scarcity. You understand? Like fear, cheapness, settling. What do you settle for? What do you avoid doing? You hope to have your dream life one day. That's coming from that old you. That's not coming from that most successful version of you that knows that you can have everything that you want. Okay. You're playing small. You're playing small in life. You're doubting. You worry, doubt, and fear. Okay. You react. We've been talking a lot about reacting here. You react emotionally to everything. When you react emotionally to everything, who are you being in that moment? Are you being that most successful version of you? Well, probably not. Okay. So listen, living the end 2.0 is when your choices speak louder than your affirmations. This is what I mean. You can say affirmations all day long, but when it comes down to making a decision of what you need to do, your decision only comes from your most successful version or your old version. Okay. What are you choosing? And then, okay, it's not just your decisions. It's when you're going through negative situations. It's going through things that you don't like. How are you reacting, responding to it? Are you reacting as your old version, throwing a fit, throwing a temper tantrum, having a meltdown? You know what I mean? Maybe getting in fist fights, who knows? Or are you responding to it like a multimillionaire you are? You got to answer that question. I can't answer it for you. Only you can answer that question, because you have to be self-aware of it. Like I said, once you're self-aware of what you're doing, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Then you can change it. Hey friends, Just a quick little intermission here, and we'll jump right back to the video. But if you're really trying to figure this stuff out, if you're really trying to live life on your terms, you really need to check out the description, because in the description is where I keep all the nuggets and all the resources. If you're new here, start right here. We got stuff like the power drops, which is totally free, by the way. We got the 30-day challenge. And of course, if you want to be part of the tribe, the link is here. And if you want to try to work with me, the link is right here as well. Like I said, my friends, if you really want to try to make this stuff happen, if you really want to live life on your terms, always keep up to date with the description, because that's where all the nuggets are. Other than that, let's get back to the video. This is the last one before we actually go on to the bonus. Okay. Now, number 3 is overreactions aren't failures. They are the purge required for your next identity, for your upgrade. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? Is overreactions are not failures. What I'm talking about is, we've been talking about a lot about how you handle negative situations, and we're all human. We don't handle things perfectly all the time. So when we don't handle things perfectly all the time, like especially in the manifesting world, the success world, they kind of view negativity, negative emotions, overreacting, having a meltdown. We kind of view it bad. Or we kind of learned it directly or indirectly that it's bad. We think it kind of throws us off our game. We think manifesting is going to stop for us, but this is all false, my friends. Okay, so this is a really important part right here. If you're overreacting, it's just a purge. It has to happen. Okay, remember what I've told you in other videos. Life is happening for you. Life is happening for your benefit. In every situation, good or bad, there's abundance, because abundance is divine. There's opportunity. There's something to learn. Okay. It's happening because that old you has to get out of you. Those old habits has to get out of you. Okay. You're just trying to bury them. You're just trying to ignore emotions. The emotions are building and building and building. It has to get out of you. Okay. That's why this is happening. And this is kind of the great takeaway here. Listen, this is the deepest part of everything here. See, most people think, I have a meltdown, I overreacted, I ruined my manifestation. No, not at all. That's false. When you hear that, get that out of your mind. Okay. Listen, having a meltdown isn't the problem. Okay. The meltdown is the old identity leaving your system. That's why I told you. It has to happen. That's that old self, that old you finally leaving, finally purging from you. Because it has to purge from you. It has to leave, but that most successful version of you is taking over. You have to look at it that way. It has to be exposed before it can be released. Listen, you cannot think like the old you, react like the old you, make decisions like the old you, hold emotions like the old you, and then magically jump into your new identity. You understand? Let me put this another way. You can't think like the old you, react like the old you, make decisions like the old you, hold emotions like the old you, and then magically jump into your dream house. Magically jump into your dream car. Magically one day wake up, you're a multimillionaire. It doesn't work like that. Okay? It's not going to work like that when you're behaving like the old you. But what must happen, that's why the purging those old emotions, purging that old you, is part of the upgrade. See, when things are happening like this, it's part of the upgrade because you're noticing it. See, the great part is you became self-aware of it, you're noticing it. Okay? So that's why this is what living the Yin 2.0 really means. This is a separation. Is you see the reaction, you see how you react, you see how you respond to things. You notice it's the old you, the old version, your old identity. You don't shame yourself. You don't think it's bad. You don't think you're negative. That's what I mean. You don't shame yourself. You let the emotion move. You have the emotion. You let it move. You let it move through you and out of you. And you shift back to your future identity. Okay? That's how this works. You notice it. You let the emotion do its thing, move through you, and you shift right back to that most successful version of you that has your dream house or has your dream car, that is a multimillionaire. That's how this stuff is done. So to kind of wrap this up a little bit before we go on to my bonus, is this is the master truth to living the Yin 2.0. Okay? Living the Yin is not about pretending. Listen, It's not about pretending everything is perfect, forcing you to be calm, forcing these techniques. Remember, force negates. It's not about never reacting, never have anything negative happen to you, never go through circumstances. Of course we're going to go through circumstances. Of course we're going to go through things we don't like. Okay? That has nothing to do with law of attraction. Okay, law of attraction law of assumption don't mean that we're never going to go through things we don't like. But it's how you react to it, it's how you respond to it. See, that's the test, that's the real test. That's what you have to walk away with. Is you either respond either by your most successful version of you or your old identity. Okay, but your old identity is tied to your old habits. It's tied to your comfort zone. Your old identity is you're not going to get your dream life from your old identity. Okay, that's why I say it's not living in the end isn't fake it till you make it. Pretending everything is perfect, pretending I don't throw fits, pretending I don't have bad days. Okay, pretending I never overreact, I never get triggered, like I'm being a robot. I'm not allowed to be emotional. I'm not allowed to have fun. You understand? Okay, it's not about being fake or being fake positive. You understand what I'm saying? Living the End 2.0 is all about awareness, my friends. That's why I've been talking about power of awareness. It's all about awareness of who you are being in every moment. This is the law of being. Who are you being in every moment through your 3D world? Okay, that's what you need to be aware of, because what you want to do is be that most successful version of you when negative things happen. Be that most successful version of you when you have to make a decision. Now, even for myself, lots of times when I have to make a decision, if I'm aware of it, I'll ask myself, what would the most successful version of Chad do? And I'll find at least minimum 50% of the time, my friends, that I'll have an answer like that. Okay. But my responsibility is actually do it, follow it. You know what I mean? Because I'm making decisions like the most successful version. Okay. You got to stop reacting, responding, making decisions as the old you. But that's what's keeping you attached. That's what's keeping you bound to the old you in your old life. Okay. So listen, I love this right here. I'll highlight it in green. Right here. Listen, that's the formula right here, my friends. You react to circumstances you don't like. You notice it. You become aware of it. You shift. What I mean by you shift right back to that most successful version of you. And that's the upgrade. That's when you upgrade. That's when things finally start coming to you. That's it, my friends. Listen, every reaction becomes a lesson. Every decision becomes a calibration. Every trigger becomes a cleansing. Every purge becomes an upgrade. Every meltdown becomes a reveal of who you're being in that moment. This is how identity work really happens. Okay, it just doesn't happen. You just ignore who you really are and you hope you can become your most successful version of you. You got to purge those old emotions, baby. Okay, it's part of the upgrade. It's part of the process. Because again, as we wrap this up, before we go to the bonus, is you either are being your most successful version of you or you're being the old you. That old you is a poverty you, the scarcity you. The old you is the you that don't get what you want. You're not living your life or your dreams. That's the old you. The most successful version is a person living life on their terms. That's what you have to walk away with. That's living the end for 2.0. That's how you make this stuff work, my friends.
Really quick here, friends. Do you want a challenge that's going to make every dream of yours come true?
You see, my friends, the issue is when you start trying to live life on your terms, you're doing everything right. See, that's the problem. That's how you feel. You're trying your hardest, but nothing is changing. Now, in the challenge, there's no fluff, there's no hype. It's just real transformation delivered daily. We are going to the core. We are going to the root cause why things are not working for you. All you got to do is go to the description, click see more. Everything will pop up and you will see the 30-day breakthrough challenge. Click the link and it will take you right over to that. But other than that, tribe, let's go to my bonus technique. And this technique relates to living the end 2.0. This isn't like a separate technique. This relates to when we talk about making decisions as the most successful version of you. How are you reacting, responding to circumstances that you don't like? Okay. But the next thing, the next phase, the next thing that will change it really for you is when people ask you questions, you should respond and answer the questions as if you're the most successful version of you. You understand what I'm saying? We've all done this. Maybe you share with people what you're doing. You share with people you want your dream car. You share with people you want your dream house. And all of a sudden, they ask you how it's going. Okay, they ask you. Maybe they maybe poke fun of you indirectly or whatever, or depending upon how they're saying it, or how's your dream car coming, or how's your dream house coming. You know what I mean? And I've done this. I'm really guilty of this. This is where self-awareness really comes in, because what I'll notice is when I answer the question, I end up answering the question as that old me, the old version of me. Oh, it's coming okay. I'm trying my best here. You know what I mean? That's the old version talking. That's not the most successful version of me. That's not living the end 2.0, my friends. What's living the end 2.0? What's living the end? Okay, you have what you want. Okay, you already have your dream car, so act like it. That means when people ask you a question about your dream house, hey, it's going great. I love it. Okay, this is where kind of being delusional kind of takes place. And I actually did a video on this, and let me change hands here. I heard Will Smith talk about this, and this is kind of an older interview, kind of a more recent interview he did. He actually talks about this. Now, of course, he didn't call it living the end, but he talks about that when people ask you questions, how it's going, you got to answer as if you already have what you want. You got to answer the question as if you're already living your dream life. You understand? You have to answer it like you want a motorcycle, you want a Ducati? Oh, I love it. I love my Ducati. Okay. You answer it as if you already have it. You're already enjoying it. See, that's a little bit delusional. This is where it kind of makes it or breaks it with you, because now all of a sudden you have someone asking you a question. And I've done this where they're asking me a question and it kind of relates to this. And I find myself, I kind of stop myself. And just for a brief second, I don't know how to answer it, because it kind of sounds weird. You know what I mean? It kind of sounds weird to answer it from my higher self, because I feel like, well, they know I'm not in my dream house. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying, but you have to answer as if you already have what you want. This is living the end 2.0. It's not just like I said, it's not just sitting back, going inside your imagination and seeing it. It's in your 3D world. What Neville Goddard really meant, in your 3D world, you're really carrying yourself as if you already have what you want. You're not contradicting yourself at all. Okay? And what I mean by contradicting, meaning like you're not doing things that contradict you being that most successful version of you. Okay, you're not doing things, you're not making decisions, you're not overreacting to things, you're not answering questions that contradict you having your dream house, that contradict you being a multimillionaire. That's what I mean. That's why this stuff isn't really working for you, because you're constantly contradicting yourself. You're pretty much, what you're really doing, you think you're living the end, but you're really just carrying yourself all day long like the old version of you. And you wonder why things aren't coming to you. You wonder why things aren't working, because you're not becoming aware of what you're doing. You understand, my friends? But to kind of wrap this up, I know you know what I mean, but this is probably a harder one to do, but you will become aware of it. And you probably can think right now, it's like, yeah, someone asked me a question and I tend to respond like the old version. It's almost like when someone asks you, hey, how's it going? Besides saying, great, it's going fantastic. I'm having a wonderful day. I'm having a blessed day. Besides respond like that, you respond like the old you. You're like, yeah, it's going okay. I got up late today. I feel sick today. That's how you respond. Okay, that's that old you responding. It's not that most successful version. Okay, remember, if source is inside you, abundance is in all things. You can call you can call the unseen into the seen. Your words have power. So you're speaking it. Okay, this is the next phase, is when you can speak and you can answer questions as if you already have what you want. Okay, Little bit hard to do in the beginning. It's not really hard. It's more awkward. You know what I mean? But it's so, so powerful. If you can really get in the habit of doing this, this will change everything. This will change your life. Okay, my friends. Okay. But other than that, thanks for sticking around. And, I'm going to finish my Coke here with, it's kind of like cherry Coke, but she put some cherry juice in it for me. I kind of have a cold today. I'm in Thailand. It's been hot as hell, but we've been having some cold spells here. So I actually got a cold. But anyway, if you have questions, comment below. I'd love to help you out. Other than that, remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.